Something a little bit different this week. A friend of mine asked me if I could fix the bridge on this Aranjuez, if I'm saying that correctly, classical acoustic guitar. And this is a job I've done once or twice in the past with success, so I said why not? It's really important to add the bridge exactly where it sat originally so that the intonation and tuning of the guitar is as it should be. And if I hold this up to the light, you can see an outline of where it originally sat. So this is going to be relatively easy to place. And looking at the back of the bridge, you can see there is a little bit of torn out grain here, and I want to remove all that and get this back down to bare wood before I glue it back on. I'm going to apply some masking tape right where the bridge needs to be, and that will help to protect the finish. I'm going to use a fresh utility blade just to scrape off the remaining finish. I want to get this down to bare wood so that the glue can adhere properly. And you'll see that I'm holding the blade at a slight angle so that I don't damage anything on this side. That's about as scraped as it needs to be. I'm now going to move on to sanding, and I'm going to use some 100 grit paper wrapped around a little block to give me a little bit more control. And the trick here is to remove any old glue and finish, but as little wood as possible. I don't want to sand away any more material than I need to. You can see here that I'm starting to get some yellow dust. So as soon as the dust turns from white to yellow, you know that you're sanding away wood. So I've sanded enough here now, just need to work on this side. And I think that's about as much sanding as I need to do on the guitar. For the bridge, I'm not going to bother scraping, I'm just going to go straight to sanding. And I can just keep checking progress until I'm down to bare wood. And I'm trying to apply pressure as evenly as possible across the full length of the bridge. I'm getting really close now. I can see that I've got bare wood here, here and here. Just got a bit of a high spot here and here, so I'm going to get those by hand. And I think that looks pretty good. I've bought some Titebond 1 for this job, which is generally regarded as one of the best glues for guitar repairs. It's probably only second to hot hide glue, and I've never used hot hide glue before, so I don't really want to experiment on a project like this one. And this has worked well for me in the past, so I know I can trust it. My usual choice of wood glue is Everbuild 502, and that's predominantly because it's cheap, but it's also really, really strong. I've never had any issues with it in 6-7 years of working with it. If I were to use this glue for this situation, I'm 90% sure that it would be absolutely fine, to be honest. But because the bridge is going to be under quite a lot of tension from the strings, I might as well just use the stuff that's been recommended. Before I apply any glue though, I just want to do a bit of a dry run of clamping this up just to make sure I don't have any issues. And I've got a couple of these long reach C clamps or G clamps, I'm not sure what the actual name of them is, but these weren't expensive and I bought them specifically for jobs like this one. Okay, I can already tell that I'm going to have an issue because there's a rib on the inside of the guitar body right here. And that's going to prevent me from properly being able to tighten down this clamp. So I think I'm going to add a block of wood to the jaw of the clamp here. Now I'm just going to check I can still maneuver this in place with the block on there. And that's going to work really nicely. I think I'm also going to make a bit of a clamping caul to sit over the bridge so that I can not only apply pressure on each side but also in the centre. I'm marking up the length of the bridge and then I'm using calipers to accurately measure the height of the bridge, and I can use those to scribe a line onto the block. And then I'm using the bandsaw to cut out that shape. This string saddle here sits higher than this part of the bridge, so I'm just going to take away a bit more material at the front here. I've been fiddling around with this a little, and I've now got it so that it's applying pressure evenly from one end of the bridge to the other. I'm applying glue to both surfaces to make sure I get good coverage. Oh, almost put it on the wrong way. You want to make sure that the string saddle is at the front, and these holes here are where the strings get fed through. Right, I think right there is where it needs to be. And I'm just going to apply a bit more masking tape to hold it in place. This isn't going to need a great deal of pressure, but I do want to make sure that I've got a good bead of squeeze out at both the back and the front, and it looks like I have. So I'm going to tighten it a little bit and leave it there. Just wiping away the excess glue with a damp cloth because I don't want the glue to set on the bridge itself. And in hindsight, it would have been a good idea to cut these off flush with the ends of the bridge so that I could get to the glue squeeze out in there. But I'm not going to disturb this, so I'm just going to do my best to get a rag in there to get that excess glue away. It's pretty cold in the workshop today. It's about 9 or 10 degrees, so I'm going to take this into the heated house, which will help the glue to go off. This glue needs 6 hours to fully cure. I left it overnight, and then I can remove the clamps, the caul and the masking tape and get some strings on just to check that everything's holding okay. And everything seemed fine, so now over to Paul to play us out.
I think that one was good.